this Engen Polo Cup action is proudly brought to you by Engen Primax Unleaded, Volkswagen Motorsport, Polo, the #1 in brakes, and Dunlop Tires. Round 5 of the Engen Polo Cup heads down to the Eastern Cape and to the home of Volkswagen Motorsport. Aldo Scribante racetrack with a brand new surface, as you can see behind me. Absolutely incredible job they've done down here, but looking forward to seeing what these cars can do for the first time here on their home track. It's going to be a tough ask. At the front end, Jeff Kruger just leading things out ever so slightly over Tasman Pepper, and Machotsi is closing. But of course, when you get down here with the tricky conditions that have already arrived here for this weekend, it just means that things are going to be so much more open, and the even stuff at the front is going to turn very odd. Let's go and find out what happened in qualifying and see exactly what I'm talking about. A small break in the weather has given us a little bit of dry conditions here for qualifying, so it's going to help everybody out and hopefully get some times down that we should be seeing out of these cars. We will set a new lap record here with a brand new vehicle for the season, but is it going to be the kind of lap record we'd be seeing in the dry? Mal Spur joining us for the very first time. As you can see, Jean Gabber returns with a little bit of a spin down into the hairpin. But Mal Spur in the Nathan's Motorsport machine, first time for that lady to join us in National Championship. Qualifying checkered flag comes out, and just in time because the rain has now started to fall again and Super Pole is going to be wet. Can you believe this? The top 6 make it up into Super Pole, but now with these very tricky conditions and the rain starting to come down even heavier, it looks like it's going to be slightly slower lap times that we're going to see out of the top 6, even though they're going to be the first 6 on the grid for race #1. Tasman Pepper will now have to draw for race #2, and she draws pole. Can you believe that? Jeff Kruger, where he ended up in the Universal Racing Machine. He'll move to 5th place. Bit of work to do from there. Delon Thompson, second time in the top 6. He ends up in 6th place after the draw. What's happened there? 3rd place for Sean Larezave. There's Machotsi on the front row. Let's wait and see. No, he goes to 4th. Wow. So Clint Besaidnote gets 2nd. Jeff Kruger also gets the 1,000 Rand from Dunlop. He'll be happy with that. Delon Thompson, certainly a surprise package here this weekend. You've already been in the top 6 this season so far, so it's not really a new place for you to be, but you haven't been in the top 3.
Yeah, I was also quite surprised. This is being our first time at the track. I was surprised with the performance. Unfortunately, Super Pole didn't go according to plan, so we're starting 6th in both races.
Tassie, unfortunately today it looks like you went out with a dry thinking it was going to be all good for qualifying, which it was initially, and then the weather just turned.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of qualifying was really good. I didn't expect to put it on pole, actually, because you never know. We never did any dry testing yesterday, but the car felt really good, and we come in afterwards and go towards Super Pole, and it just starts pouring with rain. So the first group obviously got a little bit more of a dry track than we did, and I was last in the second group, so it just got wetter and wetter and wetter, and it was just so slippery out there.
Jeffrey Kruger, you were very lucky in the Super Pole. Things just turned nasty for the rest of the drivers, but you managed to just sneak in a lap there and get the Super Pole.
We were the first ones to go out in the shootout while the rain was coming down, so I knew at the end of my Super Pole lap that the other guys were going to have a very tough time, so yeah, I just had to keep my lap together, keep it neat, keep it clean, keep it on the track, and managed to get the pole, so I'm very happy. But thanks to the team, thanks to my dad and Universal for everything they've been doing for me. So yeah, race 1, it's going to be interesting. Race 2 starting from P5, so definitely going to be a tough day ahead of us.
That's it from qualifying. Join us after the break for some more action from the Engen Polo Cup. Welcome back to extreme festival action in the Engen Polo Cup now in Aldo Scribante with the wet race declared. Not going to be easy for all of these cars to get out there with these kind of conditions. And with the cut slicks from Dunlop the only option, let's find out from Riaz Hafaji what they're going to do. Riaz Hafaji, great to have you here, sir. But you've been around in motorsport for a while now, and the brand is just getting huge, especially in the Engen Polo Cup. The tyres seem to be handling up with the tricky conditions, which is a nice thing for you. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a tricky one to sort out today with these conditions.
Yeah, because it was dry this morning, now it's wet, so we've got to be a bit on our toes to make sure that the tyre selections are right for the team. So ATS, our partners, are working quite hard with the teams to make sure they get that right. Yeah.
And that partnership works really well for you guys too, hey?
Yeah, no, it's a great partnership. And guys know what they're doing. They're professional. They've got a great organization. Corbus is on the ball, so we're really proud of them. Yeah.
Final bit of preparations now, and there's a lot of guys scratching their heads, scratching their helmets, and looking at data, trying to work out what they're going to do. And a couple just getting a lastminute.com hamburger. Let's catch up with Daniel Duminy as our driver profile.
Durban, South Africa. I started in go-karts following my dad's footsteps when I was younger. Probably going on 2 wheels and almost rolling, and then coming from last to win the race in a go-kart in the rain. I like making films and I like riding bikes. Some people that hate me, but Lewis Hamilton definitely. I don't like Sebastian Vettel. Definitely East London. Just because it's so fast. I like speed a lot, so just gives me the thrill.
The thrills are about to kick off, and it's time to go racing. Let's have a look at the lineup now for race number 1. Remember, the top 6 times are going to be slightly slower than the guys behind them due to the fact that Super Pole was in absolutely treacherous conditions. Tasman Pepper and Delon Thompson, the final part of that top 6, Poseidon Oat and Jean Gerber. Then it's Daniel Duminy and Darren Oates, Jason Campos and Paulus Franken. And further down from that, we go to Keegan Campos, Piet Versace, Simon Need and Elton Bow. The youngster at the back just beating out Bo Terus and Mal Spur for the first time in the Engen Polo Cup. Final bit of preparation, final little bit of advice being given. You can see these guys are fired up. Oh, eyes on the prize there from Double D. He wants to go to the front quickly. We're on board with Jeff Kruger, the Universal Healthcare and Comp Care machine, as they head off the line. Can he outgun everybody? Look at how that car's just spinning up. Oh, there's just so much water there, and he's trying to get the traction from those Dunlop tires. Trying to close down on Loresve, who's got the whole shot. He's going to head into turn 1. Mahotsi comes around his outside. So 2 championship contenders side by side. Where's Tasman? Tasman's sitting down in possibly 4th or 5th place. 6th place right now. She goes side by side with Justin Oates into turn number 1. In the mid-pack, the Campos boys fighting with Franken. Simon Need coming side by side there with Mal Spur. 2 of them. Oh, Spur's out of shape. Mal Spur gets out of shape through turn 1. Thought she got it all wrong there. Simon Need just avoided, and fortunately didn't go into the side of her. But welcome to Engen Polo Cup there, Mal. On the braking markers now for the hairpin. It's Loresve. He leads out over Kruger, Mahotsi and Delon Thompson. Delon Thompson's got big pressure being applied there. Oh, a little tap there between Kruger and Mahotsi. Mahotsi getting up close and personal with the Team Red Man as they come through there. It's awesome stuff and very close racing, as always, in the Engen Polo Cup. Further back, Justin Oates under pressure there from Campos. Mahotsi's coming along and closing in on Kruger, bringing Thompson. Tasman Pepper behind. And then you've got Jean Gerber, Double D. Oh, what a run there from Paulus Franken. He's starting to put the pressure onto the back end of Campos and looking for a way through. Can he find a way through? Not just yet. Keegan Campos just managing to keep him at bay. This is late braking from Kruger. Into turn 1. Is he good enough on the inside? He's got the inside line. Loresve gives him some room to play. We go on board here with Sean as the 2 of them come sliding through turn 1. And Loresve now trying to come back in the Alpine Motors and Pepper Racing Polo. Clip onto the curbs. Kruger goes on the inside as they come through the Schaeffler S's and now looking for a chance to close things down. Closing down has been done and sorted because it's now Thompson ahead of Mahotsi. Can you believe that action? Delon Thompson is loving life in these very tricky conditions. This is Tasman Pepper's point of view as they head through the very fast corner there. Of course, hanger sweep and now onto the brakes into the hairpin. Pepper's closed on Mahotsi. Mahotsi looking for opportunities to get back at Delon Thompson, but now has to keep his eyes on those rearview mirrors because right on his tail is Tasman Pepper. The turn 1 car of Jason Campos. He's under attack from Elton Bow. In fact, he's the meat in the sandwich between those 2 signature motorsport cars there of Oates and Elton Bow as they come through the sweep. Bow trying to close down. He's lost a little bit of ground. We go on board with his teammate here. This is Darren Oates closing in on the Manitou car of Paulus Franken. It's gingerly through Dunlop corner. See just how difficult this is going to be. It's low gears you got to try and run in these conditions. You can't afford to go into the high ones. And Mal's just found out again. Woo, it's tricky out there. And that's not the Monster Claw. No, that's the Mal Claw coming out. Trying to get the claw to get into the traction and get those Dunlop tires to do the work on the new black stuff here at Aldo Scribante. Massive thanks, of course, to Scribante Construction for the new surface that's been put down. And look at how, oh man, Jean Gerber was absolutely lit through turn 1. Only he could have caught that one. Great driving from the Masters champion from last year. He's been out for the entire season, and he's now running ever so slightly wide. I wonder if he's remembered to use the push-to-pass mechanism, because he's not been able to close that gap down. have to wait and see and check with him afterwards. Justin Oates is certainly using it. He's closing in on the back end of that second battle on track. This is the one that we're concentrating a little bit on because Machotsi is applying massive pressure onto Lon Thompson. And we go on board with Jonathan as he gets a little tap from behind. Tasman is looking very, very opportunistic and is applying a bit more pressure now. Looking for a chance to maybe catch them both out and make her way slightly higher up in this field. Thompson goes defensive into Dunlop. Machotsi's going to... Oh! That was hectic. Leg breaking was completely missed by DeLon Thompson. He went sliding in and T-Bone City into Machotsi. Machotsi had nowhere to go and he tries to bring the car back on, but look how slippery it is out there on the dirty stuff. He eventually gets back on track behind or alongside the Europe and Seeker car of Justin Oates. Let's have a look at that from Jonathan Machotsi's point of view. He turns in. Oh, and Thompson just comes straight across at him. I think DeLon Thompson ran out a little bit of brakes there and probably out a little bit of talent as well as he tagged him. Changes gears and gets back on track as we saw. This is Tasman's Pepper's point of view of the same incident. She gets on the brake. She sees what's happening, dives on the inside, avoids it, and gets gifted an opportunity of a top 3 now as Tasman Pepper moves up right behind her teammate, Sean Larezave. Justin Oates in the Europe and Seeker car is out of shape. Oh, he tries to catch it into the S's and just avoids those light posts and tyre barriers. And eventually gets back on track himself. So you can see conditions are getting worse and worse. The cars are starting to slip and slide all over the place. The rain has definitely picked up and it's making for very tricky race conditions here. Machotsi back on track. How far down is he? He's looking to try and get back into the top 5. And Simon Need. The need is real, and there you have it. Oh, that was a 720. We're going to give him a 9 out of 10 for that one. Great job there from the Phototonics man to catch it. And Wouter Roos now moves up ahead of him. Roos reveling in these conditions, doing a lot better than what we see him in the dry. He definitely has got what it takes here in the wet conditions. So has Daniel Duminy. But Daniel Duminy has got the big attention coming from that Polo GTI. And look how Machotsi is pushing him. The SMD man goes defensive on the inside. That might not be the right line because Machotsi is going to carry corner speed, but Daniel Duminy comes across, shuts the door. Not going to allow Machotsi through. Can he keep him out? Oh, and Duminy makes a mistake. Duminy catches himself under braking and runs wide at that Valvoline hairpin. He's able to get back on track as well, but he's going to tuck in behind Alton Bow. The checkered flag is on standby. It's going to be Jeff Kruger to take this first victory. The Universal Comcare car is going to be winning things out here comfortably in the end, ahead of Sean Larezave. Larezave hanging on for the win in the Masters ahead of his teammate. That's Tasman Pepper, who was gifted third as she came through and missed the opportunity of being taken out by DeLon Thompson and Machotsi's incident. Finally, Jean Gerber comes through for 4th place ahead of Clinton Poseidon-Oates. Machotsi survived for 6th place ahead of Thompson and Oates. John, despite the little incident between the man standing next to you, you still managed to get the fastest lap in. That's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just an indication of how well our car's been running this weekend. And I mean, look, after the incident, I was hard on the charge and eager to get back up front.
DeLon, a little from your side of things, what happened up in Dunlop?
Unfortunately, when Jonathan came alongside me, mistakenly locked up the brakes in these difficult conditions, and we had a bit of a coming together.
Jeff, you were praying for rain. It came and came at the right time by the looks of things.
Yeah, I can't complain at the results. It really went well out there today. By the time I got to turn 1, I was second. And then myself and Jonathan had a bit of a battle on the first lap, which was quite fun. But then I managed to get ahead and then catch Sean into 1. I got past him and pulled a nice gap, so I'm happy with that. Glad the car's in one piece. Yeah, it looks like the rain's going to continue for the rest of the day. So next race we're starting P5, so it's going to be very interesting from there.
Well, we said the rain was going to come. It came in a big way in that race. Look forward to seeing either drier or even worse conditions straight after the break in race 2. The rain has been on and off all day, but it has not chased the crowds away. They have come out in their droves and have been entertained big time here at the Extreme Festival. The second heat of the Engen Polo Cup about to make their way out onto track. We've got a chance to catch up with one of the top contenders and a new man to the class, Jason Campos.
Johannesburg. Funny enough, PlayStation, a little steering wheel, and enjoying it a lot. And yeah, my dad bought us our first race car when I was 18 for passing matric, and yeah, just kind of stuck from there. Definitely Carl Army 2013 in, I think it was November. Won my championship. Tough round. I came from the back to win it, and yeah, great feeling. It sticks with me. Not racing, working. Turn 1 Insurance Brokers is my business, so that's something I do. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's tough to become a paid sports star in South Africa, so yeah, have to work like everyone else. So I've got 2 heroes. One's definitely my father, great businessman, great person. Anyone in the racing industry knows him very well. And then racing has to be Michael Schumacher. He brought the passion, and that's why we come racing, so yeah. Has to be Cape Town, Killarney. I love the sweep, the sweeps, the flowing nature of the track, late apexes, something quite unique. It definitely separates the boys from the girls, you know.
Tasman Pepper lines up in pole position after drawing that number 1 in the lucky draw. Are we going to see her get away at the front end? Is Kruger going to use his abilities in the wet to make his way to the front? Will DeLon Thompson stay out of trouble this time? And Justin Oates definitely looking to improve. The light's about to go off. It's Pepper racing, literally line astern as they get off the line, but they're on the wrong side of the track. It's not the clean line. In the wet, you kind of want a little bit of dirt, but it didn't quite work out. And heading down towards turn number 1, Clinton Besaidno, it looks like he's going to get the whole shot, and Machotzi's going to try and go with him. Machotzi's going to try and go around the outside of Tasman Pepper. You can see Jeff Kruger trying to do the same thing there to Sean Lereserve. Daniel Duminy just ahead of Jean Gerber, and he's side by side with DeLon Thompson. 2 by 2 into turn 1, and now through the Schaeffler S's, they're going to try and sort things out. It is Besaidno ahead of, just getting through the, whoa, how was that line from Machotzi and Daniel Duminy? The 2 of them getting on the inside and into the dirty stuff. That forces Darren Oates off the track as well, as he had to take evasive action with cars trying to avoid the cars that were spinning through the S's. Fortunately, everybody, I think, has survived and got through. Let's see, get everything sorted out. Lereserve in 3rd place behind his teammate Tasman Pepper. It's Clinton Besaidno, you can see just up the road there in the Glyco car holding on. Pepper with a little mistake, and Lereserve going to try and capitalize on that. I wonder if she just missed a gear through there. Yeah, I think so. It's Lereserve up ahead of Tasman Pepper. Tasman, just a slight mistake in the gear change there, and it costs her 1 position. Tasman Pepper now has to go defensive on Kruger. Machotzi's right on there. In fact, it's DeLon Thompson. DeLon Thompson has squeezed out and got through. Jeff Kruger, trying to avoid all the cars spinning out through turn number 2, has unfortunately dropped back to 6th place. Daniel Duminy yet again makes a mistake up at the hairpin. He gets back on track now, but he's got a massive amount of ground to make up as they come from the back end. Gerber trying to keep out the attack from Kruger. The Universal Man trying to find a way through. That's exactly what we saw almost all of last season. Here's a replay of that turn 2 incident from Jason Campos' point of view. See Daniel Duminy just getting out of shape ever so slightly. He gets completely locked up and eventually gets back on track. But it was Machotzi who went diving on the inside, and there you can see, putting the windscreen wipers on, we eventually see what happens. Darren Oates, same incident, and Daniel Duminy just getting caught out. Oates has to be forced wide. Try to catch the car, but there's just not enough traction to bring those Dunlop tyres on the very, very new surface. New man to the front end as they go through the Valvoline hairpin. It's Lereserve ahead of Besaidno. Pepper ahead of Machotzi. On board with Taz now as she closes in on Besaidno. Trying to make it a 1-2 here for the team. Smooth turn in there from Tasman. And Machotzi is looking dangerous. Machotzi definitely wants to make up ground now. Let's see if he can keep it all together. Here comes Kruger, who's on the inside. The 2 of them coming side by side through Dunlop. Almost a touch between the 2 of them there. And Jeff Kruger definitely wants by here on Machotzi. Machotzi runs ever so slightly wide. He looks in the rearview mirror. You can look in that rearview mirror. You can see Kruger coming along for the ride. There he is on the inside. He's going to have what it takes under braking. Let's see what's going to happen now. Down into turn 1. Clinton Besaidno keeping out Tasman Pepper. Kruger gets through though. He's got ahead and into 4th place. Machotzi going to try and go with him now. A little bit further back, Simon Need is not loving life here in Aldo Scribante. Piet Fasagi coming along. Oh, he gives him a tag. Fasagi gets side by side with Need. The Photonics car goes left. The Engen car goes right. And I thought he might avoid those tyres, but he just clips the front end. Can he get going again? Yes, he can, but there's a bit of damage to the front end of that car. You'll have to be aware of that. As Malspur comes through ahead of Votarus. The Photonics car coming back on track. Daniel Duminy will just avoid him as he comes through after making that mistake earlier on. He's now going to try and make up the ground right from the back. We heard he did it in karting. Let's see if we can do it here in the Engen Polo Cup. Voterus, late braking, trying to outgun Mel into turn 1, and it didn't work out. That was a big moment. He's not the first man to do that down into turn 1. He's definitely not the last. Coming under braking as well, Alton Bow. Well, he's trying to use those Ferodo brakes to very good use. He maybe used them a bit too hard into the Valvoline hairpin, but he gets going again. Does he stay ahead of the man trying to close him down? Yes, he does. Awesome little recovery there from the youngster. Back to the front though. Here we go. Look how tight it's got here. This is where it could get really interesting. Glyco car is beside note. Pepper in third. It's Jeff Kruger and Machotsi coming up towards the Valvoline turn, and Kruger going on the inside looking for a chance. Kruger's lifted a little bit too late. Oh, he's tagged the back end of Tasman Pepper. Kruger goes into the back of Tasman Pepper. Tasman comes straight back ahead of Machotsi, and Machotsi is now stricken in the middle of the circuit. There is nowhere to go there, and there was nowhere to go for Jonathan Machotsi. Can you believe that? Pepper's out of shape. She comes flying through the hairpin and onto the grass. So it looks like there might be a little bit of damage on Pepper's car as well. Let's keep an eye on what's going to happen now. Wow, massive, massive moment into the Valvoline hairpin. You're up, and Seeker car is Oates. He's trying to close down on Campos. Campos is trying to find a way through. Let's have a look at this incident once again. This is Machotsi's point of view. There's the tag from Kruger. Kruger takes out Pepper. Pepper in the middle of the road. Nowhere to go for 3-4 cars, in fact. Delon Thompson got involved. So did the Hub car. And, of course, that is Jean Gerber. Look at this, Machotsi. Oh, Tasman Pepper just hanging on and feeling the bumps and bruises. Oh, man, that's not where you want to be in a race car when you got 6 or 7 cars just hitting you from all angles. That's Kruger's tap on the back end. Unfortunately, I think he's going to be caught out for making the mistake there. He's taken out Tasman Pepper, and the Universal Man survives, but he might be under threat from the COC afterwards. The safety car has come out, and that's a big, big pity because we had such a great dice about to start there and a massive battle. Safety car is going to come in. Now, watch out for these guys. Remember, you may not overtake the man in front of you until you've crossed the line. So even if Poseidon wants to go for the win, he can't do it. There's no way he's going to be able to do it. Loreserve is going to hang on. He's going to take the second victory here in Engen Polo Cup. Poseidon will come through just on his tail for second. And Jason Campos eventually gifted a third place overall there. What a run there from Campos as he comes through to take the third ahead of Thompson, his brother Keegan, Justin Oates, Darren Oates, and Jean Gerber. Championship points leading into the next round at Swartkops. Kruger has got a 14-point lead over Tasman Pepper, and Machotsi down on 92 in third. So Poseidon, you stayed out of trouble in heat number 2. How did that happen?
Yeah, I was actually lucky. I saw the accident in my mirror. It was just carnage with Machotsi, Taz, and Jeff. So luckily I wasn't part of it. So yeah, it went well. Sean got quickly past me. He found the dry line quick, and I suffered to get it. And then after that I saw his lines the last 2 laps. Then I saw, oh, he's already far up. But then I thought there was going to be at least a lap left for the safety car. And then just coming out of the last corner, I just pushed it, and I hoped that I would get past me, to get past him. But yeah, overall, it went well.
I said if you're on the front row or anywhere near the front in the second race, you're going to win it. And man, you've done that every single time I say it. So I keep saying it.
Keep saying it, Greg. Keep saying it. No, look, East London, Jono had the better of us everywhere there. This track got very interesting with the weather conditions. Just sort of played into my hands today. Yeah, just thanks to the team, Alpine Motors, Pepper Racing, Ian and Shane did a fantastic job again. Car was faultless the whole weekend.
Great to have a podium ceremony afterwards with the junior drivers getting the top 3 there. Kruger, Delon Thompson, and Poseidon. And Sean Lorenzo, top of the Masters, chasing his team with Jean Gerber and Tasman Pepper on that Masters podium. We said with 2 more laps you'd get more action. That's exactly what happened here in race number 2. Can you imagine what's going to happen on the 18th of August at Swartkops for the next round of the Engen Polo Cup? Championship. And the 2... All this Engen Polo Cup action is proudly brought to you by Engen Primax Unleaded, Volkswagen Motorsport, Ferodo, the #1 in brakes, and Dunlop Tires.